Welcome to Secret Lens History. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more exciting stories from the past. Lina Medina became the youngest confirmed mother in history at age 5 in 1939. 5 years old, she gave birth in Peru, and the father was never identified. The case remains one of medicine's most disturbing mysteries. Ted Bundy doing dishes after a birthday party. Just a normal guy cleaning up, right? This is what made him so dangerous. He looked like everyone's friendly neighbor. German war criminals burst out laughing at a translation mistake during the Nuremberg trials, 1945. Even facing charges for genocide, they found humor in the moment. The banality of evil captured perfectly. A tarantula hawk wasp dragging a paralyzed huntsman spider in Australia. She'll lay her egg on its body. When it hatches, the larva eats the spider from the inside out, saving the vital organs for last to keep its meal alive as long as possible. Christmas Day, 1981. Carrie Rawson sits with her father, Dennis Rader, better known as BTK. She had no idea the man holding her murdered people. She wouldn't find out for over 20 years. Christopher McCandless was found dead inside Fairbanks Bus 142 in Alaska by moose hunters in 1992. He was 24 and weighed only 67 pounds. He'd survived alone for 113 days on plants and small animals before starvation got him. A disease left people awake but unable to move or speak. Many were trapped inside their own bodies for years. It vanished without anyone understanding why. Encephalitis lethargica, the sleeping sickness that wasn't really sleep. Dennis Rader walks his daughter down the aisle in 2003. BTK playing the proud father. 2 years later, he'd be arrested for 10 murders. She had no clue who he really was. Jeannie Wiley, the feral child. Her father locked her in a room for 13 years, strapped to a potty chair. When authorities found her in 1970, she couldn't speak or walk properly. She was 13 years old. In 1931, 2 psychologists raised a baby chimpanzee named Gua alongside their own infant son. They wanted to see if the chimp would learn human behavior. Instead, their son started acting like a chimp, and they ended the experiment. A massive earthworm found in Queensland, Australia. These things can grow over 3 feet long and live for decades underground. Giant nightmares beneath your feet. A microscopic image of a tapeworm's head. Those hooks and suckers latch onto your intestines. Millions of people have these living inside them right now. This is Laika. In 1957, the Soviets launched her into space with no plan to bring her back. She was chosen because she was friendly and calm. She died within hours from overheating and stress. An 1800s family photo. The unsettling stares, the formal poses, the long exposure times creating that eerie stillness. Victorian death portraits often look just like this. 17-year-old Brittany Drexel vanished during spring break in Myrtle Beach in 2009. She left a friend's hotel to walk back alone and disappeared halfway. Her phone pinged hours later in a remote marsh. She was never seen again. Charlie No Face. Raymond Robinson was disfigured by electrical burns as a child and only went out at night to avoid scaring people. Local legends turned him into an urban myth, but he was just a man trying to live his life. Fungi feeding on radiation grow on Chernobyl's reactor walls. These organisms actually thrive on radiation, converting it into energy. Life finds a way, even in the most hostile environments. Lon Chaney as a clown in 1928. The man of 1,000 faces in one of his most unsettling roles. Clowns hit different when they're from the silent film era. 2 inmates in separate cells conceived a child without ever meeting. They passed semen through air vents using a makeshift line made of bedding. She used a yeast infection applicator to inseminate herself. The baby was born healthy. A New Jersey doctor disappeared the day before 9/11. Her husband claimed she died in the attacks, but her car was found at a nearby train station, and she'd told friends she was leaving him. She's never been found. The tools of Ted Bundy: rope, handcuffs, crowbar, ice pick. These everyday items became instruments of terror in his hands. A jail cell from the Salem witch trials. People accused of witchcraft were held in these tiny spaces, often tortured before being executed. Mass hysteria turned neighbor against neighbor. Andrew Gosden bought a one-way ticket to London in 2007. He was 14, quiet, intelligent. He stepped into King's Cross Station and vanished. No trace has ever been found. The start of the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. People stood on the beach watching the water recede, not realizing what was coming. Minutes later, the wave hit, killing over 200,000 people. Susan Atkins photographed after rejoining Charles Manson. She'd reneged on her grand jury testimony, completely blowing off a lesser sentence. She helped murder Sharon Tate while she begged for her unborn baby's life. The last moments of a man who jumped into a tiger enclosure in 2014. The tiger did what tigers do. He died from his injuries. Ted Bundy in a police lineup in Murray, Utah. He's the one smiling slightly. Even in custody, he couldn't resist the game. The nuclear shadows of Hiroshima. People were vaporized instantly, leaving only their shadows burned into walls and pavement. These haunting imprints are all that remains. 6-year-old Eaton Patz vanished on his way to the bus stop in New York City in 1979. He became the first missing child to appear on a milk carton, changing how America handled missing children cases. An early version of Ronald McDonald. Absolutely terrifying compared to today's version. This thing haunted children's nightmares in the 1960s. Jason Yolkowski, 19, disappeared during a half-mile walk to the local high school on June 13, 2001. Vanished in broad daylight in his own neighborhood. Not a single shred of evidence was ever found. Tammy Lynn Leppert, the actress who distracts Manny in Scarface, vanished at 18 soon after filming. She was never found. She'd been acting increasingly paranoid before her disappearance. A vintage Halloween costume. Back when Halloween was genuinely terrifying and not cute. These homemade nightmares were normal. In 1984, a cult spread salmonella on food and doorknobs in an Oregon town. They poisoned over 700 people. The goal? Making voters too sick to vote, so the cult could win a local election and control the town. John Wayne Gacy as a child. Just a normal kid. Nothing in this photo hints at the monster he'd become. Someone who murdered at least 33 young men. John Lennon with Mark David Chapman, the man who would kill him. This was taken hours before Chapman shot him outside the Dakota apartment building. Lennon even signed an album for him. Natalie Holloway disappeared in Aruba on May 30th, 2005. This photo shows her at the bar that night. She's in blue on the left. Hours later, she left with 3 men and vanished. Her body was never found. Omayra Sánchez trapped after an earthquake. The 13-year-old was stuck in debris and water for 3 days while cameras filmed her slow death. Rescuers couldn't free her. She died of exposure while the world watched. The Hilo tsunami, 1946. The wave hit Hawaii without warning, killing 159 people. This photo captured the wall of water approaching the shore. a great white shark deep in the black depths, the apex predator in its element coming up from the darkness below. This is pure nightmare fuel. 14-year-old Stacy Harris vanished while horseback riding in Yosemite National Park on July 25, 1981. The only trace ever found was the lens cap from her camera. She disappeared in front of multiple witnesses and was never seen again. The Amityville Horror House, scene of the DeFeo family murders in 1974. Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot his parents and 4 siblings while they slept. Later residents claimed paranormal activity, though most was fabricated. Shell-shocked soldier during World War I. This is what trauma looked like before we had a name for PTSD. The 1,000-yard stare of someone who's seen too much. Ted Bundy in various family photos, playing the charming boyfriend, the loving partner. These normal moments make his crimes even more chilling. Cave water dripping from the ceiling in the catacombs. Centuries of mineral deposits creating formations in underground ossuaries surrounded by millions of human bones. Disney cruise worker Rebecca Coriam was last seen on CCTV in 2011, pacing during a distressed phone call. Hours later, she was gone. Disney's investigation was minimal, and her family never got real answers. An unsettling vintage Halloween costume. When Halloween meant actual fear, not store-bought costumes, these handmade nightmares were the norm. Mount Sakurajima erupts in 1914. The massive eruption in Japan killed dozens and reshaped the landscape. The volcano is still highly active today. Dorothy Arnold, 25-year-old socialite and heiress, vanished while walking down Fifth Avenue in 1910. Broad daylight, busy street, her wealthy family never even contacted police. She was never found. Ted Bundy's yearbook photo from 1965. Just another high school student. Nothing in this photo suggests what he'd become. The last photo taken by Dalen Pua before he disappeared. The 18-year-old was hiking the illegal Haiku Stairs in Hawaii in 2015. He vanished on the trail. Some claim you can see a figure hiding in the background of this photo. A selfie from James Holmes. The Aurora theater shooter took this hours before he murdered 12 people and injured 70 during a midnight showing of The Dark Knight Rises in 2012. If you enjoyed exploring these incredible snapshots of history, don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next adventure.